Yeah, I don't think so. Much better. Sorry, Ghosts N Goblins, I'm just not interested in paying $30 to get pissed off for however long it takes to beat you. Good thing I've got cursed Castilla to tide me over until you go on sale. Cursed Castilla, or Maldita Castilla to use the original Spanish name, was first released for free on PC back in 2012. Later, EX would be added to the name as it was released on Steam in 2016 with additional content. It was created by the dream team of Loco Malito handling development and Gryzor87 composing the soundtrack by emulating a Yamaha YM2203 sound chip, which means nothing to me, but I'm sure there are some audiophiles out there that'll appreciate that. These guys are all about recreating the look and feel of traditional video games, made apparent by their release of Super Hydra, a Gradius-style shmup that I've briefly covered on this channel before. While Ghosts N Goblins has always had a sort of tongue-in-cheek humorous approach to its horror atmosphere, Cursed Castilla has a much darker tone, with tons of gore and corpses just all over the place. You lose one of your comrades as early as level 2, and have a disturbing reunion with the others much later in the game. It really hammers home the feeling that our heroes are sacrificing everything for the good of their homeland, and if you can't beat the game in under 3 continues, you'll find out just how true that statement really is. That's not to say it's all doom and gloom, just check out this skeleton busting a groove. Man, I wish I were that happy. And really? Pangdemonium? Bet you think you're real clever, huh? So, what does Cursed Castilla play like? And the answer is like a dream. Gone is the hyper-commitment on jumps from Ghosts N Goblins. You actually get some mid-air control that saved my butt many times. And you can throw your sword in 4 directions.
Who throws a
sword?
Honestly.
Just like the jumping, throwing the sword feels really good. There were times when I felt like a real sharpshooter, which is good because you'll need those skills for later levels. Seems one of the few things missing from Arthur's basic moveset here is the double jump, which instead shows up as a power-up for certain zones that can make use of it. Choose wisely, since you only get 1 slot. The blue fairy is a pretty safe choice for some extra offense, but there's also the shield for an extra hit point, and the score multiplier if you want to waste your power-up slot. Keys function as keys, and the crystal ball functions as, well, I don't actually know since you lose your power-ups when you die. You also lose your special weapon, breaking with Ghosts N Goblins tradition. But with the way this game is designed, I never felt at a big disadvantage without a certain weapon or power-up, with the exception of at least 1 boss fight. These bolas are pretty sweet to have though, and since weapon drops rotate, you can easily pick whichever suits your fancy. So, Cursed Castilla looks great, sounds great, and it feels great to play. The only thing that I don't think is completely up to snuff is some of the level design. There are some really good challenges, but then you get parts that seem deliberately designed to be no challenge at all. Why are these skittering skeletons on the ceiling? They don't drop on you if you walk under them, and they aren't in the way. It's just a complete waste of an interesting scenario. These spinning spike logs don't bring any kind of interesting challenge. They just slow the gameplay to a crawl for a few seconds. This ascending passage with these energy-spitting wall faces could have made for a much better challenge if the game didn't reward slow and methodical play. I also don't like how these fire worms were handled. Sure, the first one is a freebie to let you know there's something to worry about, but the rest don't show up until you're in harm's way. It's a memorization game to know the safe places to stand, so my first time through was a real pain in the ass. Contra 3 had something similar to this, except you'd see it well before you had to worry about it. It was designed this way so that players wouldn't take a cheap death from something they either didn't know or forgot was there. Well, that was rude.
Who throws a
These aren't constant annoyances or anything, just small portions that I think could have been better designed. And the thing I said about certain scenarios being way too easy, yeah, that goes out the window once you reach the realm of pain. It ain't called that because it tickles. Be prepared to play through the game twice, by the way. Yup, that pretty much sums up how I feel. Love the soundtrack. It has that Genesis grunginess that's so evocative of the era. Maybe not download worthy, but as far as completing the illusion of playing a game from the late 80s to early 90s, the soundtrack does that in spades. It feels wrong to use the word illusion, because with the exception of some modern concessions, like unlimited continues and the ability to quit mid-game and come back later, Cursed Castilla could be considered an arcade or Genesis classic to people familiar with that era. It's reasonably priced and it's available on tons of platforms. Even better, you can still go to Loco Malito's website and download the original version of the game for free. Massive respect for that. Reminds me of how the original freeware version of Spelunky can still be downloaded for free. I should talk about that game sometime. So what are you waiting for? Go out there and fight for God and Castilla. Thanks a lot for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things that YouTube says I have to remind people to do, or else my channel will continue to languish in obscurity. Until next time, this is A Skeleton, signing out.